changed my life.
And I asked Emilio, all these movies that were made in the 80s, they had something very, very special and timeless about it. Why do you personally think, Andrew, that nothing similar has been created to the present day? There were so many of these great films that you, Emilio, and others were in during the 80s, and it's almost timeless. You look back and you watch these films, and they're still great to the present day, but nobody's trying to make them. Nobody's tried to even extend the genre. Why?
It's such a funny thing because these movies have become these kind of iconic grouping of a generation. They defined a sort of generation of people in a weird way. It's so odd. I ran into John Cryer today, who I hadn't seen in 20 years, and we both looked at each other and went, "Pretty in Pink, huh?" We would have thunk it. I mean, this is a movie about a girl going to a dance, and we're still talking about this almost 30 years later. Come on, but I mean, it was a lovely moment because we're the only two people that could really understand what that meant. And he says to me, "Every day I get it." I'm like, "Me too." And so it's, who knows? I really don't know. I think those movies captured they took seriously problems of young people in a way that movies didn't before that in a certain way. They were so melodramatically self-important the way emotion is when you're in your early 20s or late teens, where it's just really important, this dress I wear to the prom. It's just going to make or break me. But that's how you feel at those times, And so there was something in those but at the time, like Less Than Zero at the time was a big bomb. When we did St. Elmo's Fire, I remember a review coming out saying, "This movie's a day late and $1 short. It's a Big Chill wannabe." You know what I mean? So they weren't, it's only in time that they've become these things. And I think one of the reasons for that is because it was the early mid-'80s when VHS and VCR was coming out, and people could suddenly take home the movies that they were going to see. And these were the movies, and the people that were renting movies then were young kids, like teenagers. And so suddenly they could bring us home and watch us 10, 15 times. Whereas before that, you'd see a movie once, maybe twice, and then maybe a year later it was on TV. But suddenly they could have a relationship with us and go, that's me, And I think it contributed to sort of the legacy of those movies. And also, when you're in your early 20s, whatever you glom onto in that phase of life, those are your people. You know what I mean? I listen to music. I'm very contemporary with my music, but really the music I listen to is the music that I loved when I was 20 years old. I'm still rocking to old Bruce Springsteen songs, and I'm a dinosaur. But there's something when you're young like that it really gets into your fiber in a way that movies, when you see later, don't.